Now, I've been having so much fun on Assetto Corsa Competizione recently. It's my favourite sim racing game to go to for really clean, fair, intense online racing. So many of you have been asking me, where are you racing? Where are you getting this quality races? You've seen the videos, or maybe you haven't. I'm going to let you know in this video. This basically, everything you're going to see here is in, look at this drama at the beginning of Watkins Glen. It's all in the Logitech McLaren G Challenge community circuit. A little bit of a mouthful. I'm going to let you know how it works and how I'm getting to this racing. By the way, this was the first race in the championship for me at Watkins Glen. I hadn't even bought Watkins Glen in ACC until 10 minutes before this race. I didn't do any qualifying, and you're going to see in this little snippet of highlights what an incredible race I had, and then we're going to look at the other races as well. But the Logitech McLaren G Challenge community circuit is a series, it's a championship, it's a community event run by Logitech, supported by Logitech, with loads of incredible prizes to win, but it's also just a real community feel. It's on now. This was a bit of a dramatic moment, by the way. I came round the hairpin here, and I think there was a Lamborghini having a movement, and we just get clipped, smash the windscreen, have to pit out of my sort of planned strategy. It's a real drama here. I was trying to work out how to change the fuel and the tyres on the fly, but anyway, I'll let you know how that went. But it's all run by Logitech on simracing.gp. What does that mean? It's all on PC. Simracing.gp is a platform. It takes you about 5 minutes to sign up to the first time through Steam. And then it's immediate, and it tracks your stats. It puts you in the splits. It registers you. It creates the lobbies. It's a whole sort of layer that enables this community racing. And Logitech are giving away a load of prizes. So, for example, there was a race at the Nordschleife, 144-minute race at the Nordschleife last weekend, and the winner in the top split won a Logitech G Pro direct drive wheel and pedals, and a random person as well from any of the splits, who I think completed 60% races, has also won. One of the best like direct drive racing setups you can get. So pretty incredible stuff from Logitech. I'm really here to talk about the racing, because the racing I found is very different to what you get in Gran Turismo, completely different to what you get in ACC Open lobbies and iRacing events as well, because of that community feel. I know, for example, Fuentes here is a super quick driver. I know now, having raced him or her many, many, many times. So if I see him coming through, I'm not really going to battle him too hard. I'm just going to let them go because I know they've got the pace. If I see someone like Esteban, I'm actually going to, really go after them. And you can see here, there's 1 minute 30 to go in this race, by the way. And we're going to see quite a bit of drama now, because I've gone up to P4, having qualified last, not qualifying. On the very last lap, we actually got up to P3, because I think Esteban had just underfueled or something and had to go into the pits to pick up some fuel. So we actually finished our very first race in Logitech McLaren G Challenge community circuit in 3rd place on the podium, can you believe it? And I was absolutely over the moon. It's an hour-long race. They've now recently been moved to 40-minute races, but this is my second race. It was another hour-long race here at Silverstone in the wet. I hadn't done an online race in the wet in ACC before, so I was really kind of nervous about this, but also like nervously excited. But I was saying, yeah, Logitech giving me a lot of prizes. There's a community feel, so you can see here, a lot of the drivers I'm racing with here, I'd raced against in the first race. People like Polo, people like Derby, and I kind of knew I was in and around their pace. We'd qualified P8 out of 21 drivers, so I knew that, we had some decent pace to be in the midfield. Could we drive out of our skin and pick up another podium? Could we just have a solid result? Are we going to crash out? All was really exciting to see, and I was learning in the wet conditions, but it kind of gives you that familiarity. And for me, that's very similar to when I race in the real world in the championship. You kind of get to know. It's not super social at the beginning. You're not all like chatting and having beers or whatever, but you get to know people, their faces and their driving styles. And this is what you get in a community sort of a championship like this. So pretty much every time there's a racing slot, I think Logitech give away prizes to random people, but make sure you check their Discord for that. All the information in the Discord. And they've recently moved these races from 1 hour to 40-minute races, which I think will make it a little bit easier for people to commit that time, a 40-minute race. They do 2 of them in the week, 2 weekly races, I think on a Tuesday and a Thursday for me on ACC. Then they do weekly races, weekend races at the weekend, which is a slightly different format, which I'm going to show you here in this video. And then once a month they do a big monthly race. And for example, we had that at the Nordschleife, 144 lap race. Interestingly, even though here I'm in ACC, see me trying to go around the outside of someone at Cops. Is this going to work? I'm praying. And there was a little bit of contact, but we do just about both survive. That's the sort of like respectful racing that you can get here. But very interestingly, this series is being run on Assetto Corsa Competizione and Assetto Corsa. So, you know, 2 different games there. Assetto Corsa Competizione, really a GT-focused game. We're going to get 2 positions here. Are we going to get 2? Oh, yes, just about 2. And also in Assetto Corsa, you can have open wheel cars and all sorts of other cars. So interesting to see a championship run on 2 different platforms. I've actually never seen that before. You can see here we've got past Jay Polo, who's a driver that I know, you know, I can match on pace at least. And then Jay Darby ahead, by the way. In this race, he's in the Team WRT Valentino Rossi liveried BMW M4 GT3. It was an absolutely great battle. See us going side by side here. And, you know, again, are we going to go side by side into Cops? There's a Ferrari coming out of nowhere. Il Mojo. Oh, I think a little bit of contact. Sorry, McLaren, a very, very, very fast driver. But again, you kind of get to know who you're racing with. You see on simracing.gp, you see the split before you go into the race. You kind of like see what cars people are driving. And by the way, you know, this is another strategy race. It's in the rain. The tyre pressures, you know, had to be a little bit different. You know, I have to refuel the car. There's a mandatory tyre change as well. But no one in this split really was an expert at these things. Everyone was kind of making it up as we went along. You can see now I'm in P6, just holding off Darby, but he's going to go up the inside. Is he going to go too deep? Can we cut him back? He has gone deep, maybe side by side. And Polo's now there as well. So a lot of my rivals in this championship. Oh, we just get through. You can see I was excited about it. It feels sweeter when you're racing against drivers that you really kind of are building that respect around. So even in Gran Turismo, if you're doing the daily races, you know, 1 week to the next week, you might not be racing any of the same drivers. But here in a community championship, you're all pushing each other. And I was definitely being pushed here, trying to build gaps, trying to catch up with drivers. You can see me now trying to work out my strategy in terms of the fuel. I was doing some maths in my head. There's a fuel per lap thing just to the left of the speedometer there on the right side of the screen. I was trying to work that out. Again, I'm battling with Polo. In the M4, I'm in the McLaren. Really interesting battle. I think I was trying to do an opposite strat to him. If he was going to box, I was going to stay out. He was going to stay out, I was going to box. So we'll see what happens. But again, the hour-long races went super, super, super quickly for me, I have to say. And all of these races are available on my channel. If you look at the ACC playlist, they'll all be there. And there's more to come. I'm going to be live streaming around, actually. So if you're enjoying this, it'd be great to have you there. Please make sure you subscribe, got that notification bell on. Let me know in the comments. And, you know, I did the Logitech McLaren G challenge before. That was a little bit more on the esports side. That was a little bit more serious. I did a lot of guides about setups and circuit guides. This one I can tell you is a lot more relaxed. At least in Split 2, where I tend to be a lot of the time, it's kind of everyone's just, you know, decent drivers, but no one's really sweating it. I feel like people they've got stuff to do and they're turning up just before the race, and we're having really good battles. You can see Lima went through. Lima was a driver, if I remember, from the first race at Watkins Glen, who was super, super fast. So Lima's on it. You can see here, he's already gone, not his or her, already got to P3. Meanwhile, Shap has a stop and go 30-second penalty, and we're just behind Darby. I don't know where Polo's gone to. In fact, you see Polo might be all the way down there in P9. P8 has a drive-through. P7 has a stop and go. So it's all kicking off. The pit window's open. We're quite low on fuel. We have 3 laps of fuel remaining, and people were doing different strategies on the fuel. Some were just, you know, starting the race heavy. Some were trying to like start the race light and be on light amount of fuel. For me, in wet conditions, sometimes having a little bit of a heavier car can just make it a bit more planted, I find. So I did tweak the setups, by the way, tweak the dampers and tweak the fuel and tweak the tyre pressures, but I didn't go overboard. I think I added a little bit more wing maybe here. Took off a bit of wing at Watkins Glen, but I didn't feel like, you know, this is a thing where people are going around with pace setups. Certainly not Mr. Toby there, who's just spun on the exit of Stowe Corner. As are we going to pit? No, we're not going to pit here because this is not the pit entry for the GT3 cars. So that's the Formula 1 pit entrance. Having to navigate a blue flag driver here, which I think was pretty easy. I think he basically backed out of it, did he? Yeah, just kind of made it super easy for us there. So we're getting a lot of respect. And something I noticed in the championship, because Logitech incentivize you to complete the race to be eligible to win potentially some big prizes. But they do, like in Logitech G Pro Direct Drive Wheel, they do, you know, headphones, earbuds, all different prizes. I think it incentivizes people just to keep driving. And so you can see here, there's still 20 drivers in this race, and we're 45 minutes in. And some of these drivers I'm coming up to lap. Maybe already lapped actually. So that again, I think, provides that community feel. Look, when I go racing in real life, people don't just quit. Like if you have a few spins, you've paid, if you're going karting these days, you're paying triple figures to go karting easily. People are not going to be just quitting. They're going to be going around using it to get familiar with the track and the car, maybe finding someone that you're going to battle with. And you can see here we're up to P7. Derby is 20 seconds up the road, but now is in the pit. So again, there's been some sort of drama here with the pit situation. There is the actual pit entry, and I'm thinking, hang on, you know, are they going to be moving the pits where some mini maps? Someone is moving in the pits actually, so maybe they've just finished their stop. But we're going to come around cops really fast and come out ahead of them, so we inherit P6 with Shat a long way up the road. Now we're 1 minute to go, and you can see again Lima, the driver I was saying, look, I know they're fast. He's coming to overtake us here. So again, I don't really hold him up too much. Fair play. He's in the Ferrari 296. Super nice car to drive. And we're going to finish this race, I believe, in P6. We had a P3 in the first race. There's going to be a P6 here unless there's a lot of drama. Let's see. There we go, over the line. That is a P6 for us there. So on average, that's a P4.5 so far. Now, what I'm going to show you here, by the way, in the next video, is a weekend cup. And that is run over a series of races, shorter races, I think half-an-hour races on ACC. And these were big grids. We're here at Monza. It's a 34-car grid. Alion Torres ahead of us here. You're going to see, again, a few familiar faces, some new names as well. How is Monza Turn 1 going to be? Is it going to be the meme that it often is? You can see I'm just trying to avoid getting damage as we get, a little bit, it just continues behind. So we do end up getting light damage on the rear, which is not ideal, and I get squeezed out. So we're now, what's going on there? So we're now 33rd out of 34th. And this race was absolutely insane. You can see me sweating. I think it was a hottest day of the year. I think it was like 34 degrees in the UK. I'm actually sweating. You can see me visibly hot there on the Logitech G Pro. But now we're up to P13. Sorry, maybe I got that wrong. Maybe we weren't on the way down there. We're up into P13. A little bit more of argy-bargy. Really good driving by people there to not actually have that concertina. And now we're up to P12. We've got Lamborghini ahead of us and an Aston Martin. Here is the Lambo. Remember, we've got a little bit of slight damage. Now, this bit was absolutely insane. This was insane. You let me in the comments, actually, if you would have done the same thing as me here. I've got a lot of momentum because I had a good exit from Parabolica. A lot of these drivers didn't. Have a look at the radar at the top there. Have a look at the radar at the top. You can see, because we're getting through here, but then, just as we go into the braking zone, if I remember, that's what happens. There was a bit of contact there. And basically, unfortunately, my editor's cut away, but we got a bit more damage, basically. We zoomed ahead here to 26 minutes to go, up to P13. What's happened here? And now we're up to P11. Yellow flag. Have a look at someone parked on the entry, if I remember. Yeah, good job. I took a little bit of a wider line through Parabolica that time. So now we're up to P11, which is a pretty decent position for us. You know, can we make some headway into the top 10? We've got D Costa, who's got a lot more pace. I've got a bit more damage on the car by now. But we're knocking on the door of the top 10, hopefully. Let's see. And then we've got an Aston Martin. Watch out for the Aston behind us. We're just going to hold them off. Barzi Tosis in the Aston behind us. And then there's Eagle in the McLaren. And then another McLaren. You can see the gap between P9 and P15 is really condensed here. I mean, this was a super exciting race. A half-an-hour race, giving it a little bit more of a sprint feel to it. But I was absolutely loving it. And loving being part of Logitech McLaren G Challenge. He tries to go around the outside of us here. By the way, big thanks to Logitech for sponsoring this video and indeed this series. They'll be sponsoring the live stream as well that I'm going to do. So massive thanks to Logitech for getting me involved. They also gifted me that wheel, I think almost a year ago now. And I've been using it on all console racing that I do and the ACC Logitech McLaren G Challenge as we get a little bit of a tank slapper there. So we're down to P12. But if I remember, there's going to be a very dramatic moment coming up. Super dramatic moment. This is a nice platform. P13, unlucky for some to kind of build on. We're going to go through Ascari, have a look. My editor zoomed in, so I think this is it. And oh, someone goes off behind us. No, we're okay there. I've just teased you there. We were okay. And in fact, it looks like we gained a position because we've gone up to P12. So maybe that's the Greek driver having a moment. As we go through here, someone's just absolutely ploughed through turn 1. And we're down to P20. So I can spoil it now. We had a big moment at Ascari, basically. A massive moment at Ascari. And we hit the wall, got a bit more damage, and went back down to P20. And now we're making our way up again. Making our way up. So here we go, P19. I had a great battle with this BMW, by the way. A bit like in the wet Silverstone race, battling with an M4, battling with this guy here. Through Ascari we go. Remember, we got all that damage. I try and pull out the slipstream, nothing doing. You can see we just do not have the pace in a straight line. So that means I have to beat this guy in the corners, which is always fun to do. And I've done this in karting a lot. Sometimes you get a kart that's just not very good. Someone's got a rocket and you need to drive a little bit differently, operate a little bit differently in the torque band. Trying to go through Parabolica here. Slipstreaming might be super, super, super important. There's a yellow flag ahead of us. P19, maybe someone's going to be in the pits and will gain a position, possibly. Because it looks like we're now P18. So we are moving up. Can we get back to around P12 where we were before the crash? We'll see. You can see that BMW just accelerating away. So I knew, look, I need to actually find a lot more time in my driving. He's gone a bit wide there. Too fast, that BMW. And we catch up on the exit. Looks like in the acceleration zone we're not too bad. But it's as we sort of get closer to the VMAX that BMW really pulls away. So that's going to be bad on the straights. And if you look at a track map of Monza, which we don't have actually, you'll see there's a lot of straights here. So not ideal, suboptimal. But I was noticing that we look to be catching Varziotis, who I'd been dicing with before, as we had a really good exit here. Maybe think about going around the outside of Lesmes, some of the slowest corners here. And we do actually manage to go around the outside of the BMW, even though our car is massively compromised and he's had a really bad exit. So maybe we can get away a little bit and prevent him from getting a slip. And look at Varziotis there. 1.3 seconds ahead he was. And then we've zoomed forward even more, having a look at some drama ahead of us. I can't remember if these are actually lapped cars. I feel like these might have been lapped cars, we'll see. But in any event, they just kind of, well, one of them didn't, you know, I don't know what was going on there. Farmer and Moody. But there we go. Sorry, yeah, we are still catching Bartiosis, who is the Aston Martin. You can see there, 2.8 seconds. And I really had the bit between my teeth. Obviously, you can see the full race this if you want to. 2 minutes 20 to go. I've had to drive out of my skin here. He goes a little bit wide, and this could be our opportunity. We also get a slightly compromised exit. You can see how close we are getting. Super, super close. And I also noticed that the Ferrari in P15 was falling back. The Ferrari was falling back as well. So I was thinking, hang on a second. You just never know. And to recover a P15 here, you know, I would take it after I bottled it out of Ascari. So we go round up the inside, I should say, of the Greek driver. But how is this going to work pace-wise? Keep an eye on the pace here, because he's just going to have a lot more straight line speed. Hopefully, yes, we cut to going around the corner, and you can see the speed differential. I go defensive, it doesn't really matter, because he's just got so much more pace. And we are now on the last lap, because 1 minute 20 to go, we're not going to get round again. By the time we get round, it's going to be checkered back. So this is the last lap, and you can see the Ferrari 6.1 seconds up the road. So unless there's going to be some drama, we are going to be in a little bit of trouble here. But I can spoil it for you. There is going to be some drama coming. And I was just really enjoying the racing here in ACC. Okay, more cars on track. Still 32 cars on track. I think we had 33 starters, if I remember. And you can see here, there goes the Ferrari. Goes off at Ascari. And look at us now. We're going to take the opportunity. Take the opportunity here. Trying to go around the outside of the Greek driver. What's going to happen? Can we get any positions? There's the Ferrari. There's the Greek driver. Can we get any positions? The Ferrari driver's going to go a little bit deep. Can we go up the inside of the Aston? We're following the Ferrari. Look at this. We're actually going to get the move done on the Aston Martin. And is that going to be the last lap? Is that the last lap? Is that checkered? No, it isn't. There's one more lap to go because the leader hasn't taken checkered flag. My bad. Okay. A bit more exciting. I forgot about this. Here comes the Aston Martin back and going to go. So it's a three-way fight here now for P14. For me, oh, who was that? Jay Farmer again. Missing the braking zone by some distance. But we continue, and as we zoom forward here, going down one of the last straights, I just wanted more pace here from the car, but that's ACC. You get the damage. That's it. You can see I'd got the fuel just right because I chose before how much fuel I wanted. So pretty happy with my fuel. And coming into Ascari, going to go side by side with the Ferrari driver. Oh, and we just make our way through. Just make our way through there. Now, can we get something done on the Aston? The Ferrari looks like he really struggled through there. I don't know if they had big damage or something. And the Aston's going to get it. So there we go. Finishing this one in P14. But it felt like I had a lot of fun in this race, basically, which was awesome. So if you want to get involved in Logitech McLaren G Challenge Community Circuit, there'll be a link in the description to this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you're loving the ACC. And if you want to see me do more, just let me know in the comments. But maybe I'll be racing with you in the next one because I've got more races to do and I can't wait. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.